Hello, beautiful souls. In today's reading, we are actually doing a bit of a continuation, or I should say, it was a jumping off point from the previous reading. So I feel that for some of you, these two readings may be related. For others of you, they may actually be completely unrelated. So you might relate to one, but not the other. But the reason I say they may be connected in some sense is because at the end of that first reading, I pulled the Rumi card from nothing to everything. And it was so synchronous because I had earlier written in my journal as a potential download coming through that I could create a video for, that there was a situation where something felt or looked like nothing at first, but now it's become everything. So if that video title called out to you or created some kind of emotional reaction within you, then I feel there may be a message here for you, because I'm picking up on a romantic connection that initially would have been very easy to brush off. This may be a person that you would have dismissed, or maybe would have even thought could just be a fling or a very low-key kind of situation. But then it's almost like this very slow burn, this slow buildup that ultimately has now flooded in and become everything. So something that became or began as seemingly very small, very insignificant, something that possibly could even be brushed off or forgotten, showed itself to be very unexpected. Now, I'm getting in some cases, it may have just seemed small on one side of this equation. So maybe one of you realized the weight of the connection initially, and the other one didn't. For others of you, you both may have thought that this was going to be something that was easy to let go of, easy to brush off, very insignificant. So take that however it resonates. But in either case, it's now become quite clear to the both of you in a very mutual way that this connection holds a lot of spiritual weight. And I'm hearing that it feels like something that is meant to be very long-term in some form. Now, I do see that there may be some complications when it comes to trying to define this connection, and we will get into more details on why that may be and kind of unraveling that thought. But I'm definitely picking up that it feels as though, in spite of these obstacles when it comes to defining what this connection is meant to be in the physical realm, one thing is for sure, you're both really deeply realizing that it is meant to be something. It's meant to exist actively in both of your physical lives. It serves a very strong purpose. So in this reading, we're going to really unravel what that purpose is for the both of you, so you can maybe have some confirmation of what's going on within you. I have a feeling a lot of your emotions may feel like they're going haywire right now because of how this has evolved from, again, nothing to everything, so to speak. So we're going to channel more into this. But first, I want to share with you my personal, most powerful tool for manifesting in my life. And these are subliminals. Subliminals are audio meditations that contain unconscious spoken affirmations. And the beauty of these subliminal affirmations is, unlike traditional spoken affirmations, they're capable of bypassing the conscious filter of the mind and making deeper, more lasting impressions on the subconscious mind, which is so powerful because research shows us that it's actually our subconscious that controls 95% of our thoughts. And therefore, the subconscious really is the powerhouse when it comes to manifestation. So when we deeply reprogram the subconscious with something like subliminals, we can actually shift our energy incredibly fast, and you can magnetize yourself for your desires in life. Personally, I saw the most profound results, shifts, and changes almost instantaneously in my own life several years ago when I discovered and started using subliminals So I became so passionate about them, and I've now created my very own Subliminals app called Sound and Soulful. As you can see on the screen, within this app, I have over 130 subliminals for all areas of life. So there are subliminals for love, relationships, soul connections, energy clearing, manifesting specific things, mood, mindset, and so much more. So there's so much to explore here. And when you sign up in the app, you can listen to any subliminal in 10 different background sound options. You can create unlimited personal private playlists, and you can read the affirmations while you are listening. For this reading specifically, because this is a love reading, I would most highly recommend checking out my subliminal called Love Magnetism. This is so powerful for getting you into a supercharged magnetic space in love. It works by clearing out energy blockages you might be storing in any of the 7 chakra centers, preventing you from fully accessing your highest vibrational timeline in love. It can be used to deepen a connection with a specific person in your life to make that connection more harmonious, manifested, physical, but it can also be used in a general sense to attract more love, positive opportunities, positive attention, and more into your life. So the link to download the app and get started is in the pinned comment and description box underneath this video. And if you're coming from YouTube, then you can use the code LOVE12 in all caps at sign up to get 10% off in the app. Again, the link is below. Okay, so let's go ahead and shuffle the cards and start channeling into this connection that started as nothing. I'm hearing it seemed like it would be so easy to brush off. But the thing about this connection is it wasn't activating or building new feelings. When I talk about this slow build, it's much more nuanced than just the building of new feelings physically. What it's actually been is a slow unraveling of the conscious mind faculties and the restrictive kind of layers of programming that have prevented the both of you from fully realizing on a deeper level the love that's always existed there, a love that is spiritual, that transcends lifetimes. So the reason I call this a slow build is because there's been this slow building of feelings, but really it's been more so a slow unraveling of everything that may have been masking or blocking the feelings. I'm hearing defense mechanisms. So initially the connection may have sent up some defense mechanisms, either within you, within the other person, or within both of you. And yet you haven't been able to stay away from each other in spite of those initial mechanisms of defense that may have come up. And so in that slow pull towards one another and that unraveling we've been talking about, you've actually just been consciously feeling increasingly that soul bond that exists beneath the two of you. Okay, the card that really wants to come out here is, I'm sorry for giving you false hopes. I want to message you, but I'm scared you might reject me. This is getting very complex right away. By the way, with this, I'm sorry I'm giving you false hopes card, this card needed to come out because I actually pulled this card. I kind of saw it and then I thought, maybe I pulled it by accident. This just doesn't really quite seem to fit with the energy. And then I pulled the exact same card again. So we have to channel into this. And I feel there's a more nuanced, subtle meaning to this than what the initial reaction might be. Because as the clarifier card says with, I want to message you, but I'm scared you might reject me, I feel as though this person has actually been afraid to be optimistic or hopeful towards you or towards the connection, because this is someone who perceives you as either being way out of their league, as we might say in human terms, or being way above them in some sense, either literally in terms of appearance, in terms of what you've accomplished, the kind of energy you embody, or just kind of your essence. Somehow this person seems to perceive you as being better than them. I'm hearing a higher caliber than people they've connected with in the past. But the word lucky is coming out. Like they feel so lucky to have encountered you or to have met you. but they're almost treating you, or they treated you initially as kind of this, like seeing a unicorn in the wild, seeing a really rare mystical creature out in the wild. And it's like they were out there with their binoculars, not in a weird way, but it's like metaphorically, they were watching you, they were observing you, they were completely mesmerized by you. They really couldn't believe someone like you existed, and yet they were keeping their distance because they didn't want to get too close and scare you off. Just like you would think with a mystical animal, you might be afraid to get too close to it and for it to just run away, or really what I heard them say is disappear. They're worried that if they got too close, you would just disappear. And I'm hearing you were the best thing that ever happened to them or ever entered their life, which sounds dramatic, but I feel that this person sees such an immense value to having you in their life that they would rather just have the privilege of observing you in your mystical power at a distance and just retain that privilege and never get any closer to you, but always be able to at least observe you and connect with you in that small way. They would have preferred that over seeing you disappear altogether. And I'm hearing they could sense right away that you are someone who's capable of disappearing when you sense that someone is trying to rush your divine timing or gaslight you out of your intuition. And in fact, I feel very often you are put in scenarios or connections, even friendships, work environment situations where people learn the hard way your ability to disappear, to make yourself scarce when you don't feel like you are being seen, heard, or valued in that space. But this person didn't need to learn that lesson because they had a natural sense of it. And actually, you could say that they were receiving this information from their own personal spirit guides that were cautioning them subconsciously. I don't feel they necessarily speak to their spirit guides consciously, but subconsciously they were being sent essentially warnings or cautionary notes from their guides to approach you very, very slowly and carefully, because you are someone of a very high caliber, a high value, someone who is meant to be in their life long term, but also someone who knows their own value to such a degree that you know how to disappear when your value is not being recognized. And so they've been very, very careful here, but they were so afraid of getting their hopes up. I almost am picking up on someone who starts to daydream about you or about what this connection could be, and they almost start to get lost in it. And then it's like they try to shut it all down mentally and reel themselves back. I'm hearing, I'm afraid to go there. It's like even in the mental realm, they're sometimes scared of crossing into, I'm seeing someone crossing into property that is owned by someone else that isn't theirs. It's like they perceive connecting with you like this sacred space or this property that they're not sure they have any right or ownership to exist with or to interact with in this deeper way. They feel like somehow it's very wrong to claim you or own you or insist on any ownership upon you. Kind of like, I keep thinking of a unicorn in the wild, but it would be like someone trying to put a saddle on a unicorn and treat it like a horse. And I do feel you've had people very mistakenly try to do that to you, where they kind of try to break you in the sense that you break a horse, to train you to just kind of work for them or be for them. And you are so mystical and unique and one of a kind, that unicorn energy, that you completely defy being controlled or bridled in that way. And people often learn the hard way in the way that you can just vanish. You can just disappear when someone tries to do that to you. But this person has been so cautious to not give off indications that they want to bridle you or control you or anything, that they've almost veered all the way to the other direction, where at times they may have been moving so slowly that you may have mistaken it for a lack of interest. But it wasn't inconsistency, because it actually took every cell of their being to hold them back from being too eager, from being too forward, from saying or doing too much because they've wanted to this whole time. It's just that they've been very aware of the importance of moving very slowly here, reading your cues and pacing this connection. And I still see that fear of rejection with the, I want to message you, but I'm scared you might reject me. So this is the main reason that this person continues to pace their communication. But I do see that this is reaching a breaking point where that pacing is feeling less and less possible because the energy is picking up here, or rather, I should say the defenses are coming down and collapsing more and more, allowing you both to feel more consciously that natural pull that has always existed between your souls. With the yin yang card reversed, this is my twin flame card. So this could be a twin flame, but this could also indicate just a high level soulmate. In either case, this tells me that there is such a strong energetic pulling here on both sides, and I'm hearing a lot of it isn't even being discussed. I got the letter initials R, O, G, and E. Of course, this could also be the name Roger for someone. But I also heard Roger that, like message received. So maybe you sent some kind of a flare or a signal to this person to signal to them your feelings or to signal that you wanted to progress this in a certain way. And if that is the case, this person is literally giddy to have received that kind of signal from you. In fact, they've been so excited about it that it's been making it difficult for them to sleep. I'm getting both of you may actually have disruptions in your sleep patterns. You might be sleeping less at this time or waking up at random times. But with the crown chakra sitting on the root chakra, the most grounded chakra center, this tells me the spiritual is being revealed here. The spiritual is becoming grounded. It's becoming more conscious. It's becoming solidified. So what this means in the context of your connection is the spiritual aspect of your connection is becoming more consciously known between the two of you, even if it hasn't yet been acknowledged aloud. So what else can I channel about how this person is feeling right now? Okay, we have the card, I'm sorry I lied to you. No one else is ever going to replace how I feel about you. So I feel this person, to some extent, with that, I'm sorry I lied to you. I feel like they've lied in the sense, not that they've been actively deceiving, but that they've been trying to hide the depth and intensity of their feelings for you because they truly know that you are one of a kind. With no one is ever going to replace how I feel about you. They sense that this is a once in a lifetime opportunity and they do not want to mess it up. I'm also hearing something about being their dream person, that you are their dream girl or dream guy, however you gender yourself here. This is someone who realizes, I'm hearing this is it. This is that opportunity of a lifetime. This is what they've been waiting for here. And that's also why they've been so patient. That's why they've been waiting. With the Knight of Pentacles, this really represents someone who's been so gentle and patient, but again, at times erring on the side of being a bit slow moving here. So I just keep picking up that you may have actually misinterpreted that slow movement as disinterest or inconsistency, but there's always this emotional and energetic consistency beneath the surface. And I feel deep down, you've been feeling that from this person as well. It's just that they're being very careful about how they pace the physical aspects of this connection. I also keep hearing that they're really in this for the long haul as well. They do not want this connection to lose its momentum. But again, I feel this is almost reaching a tipping point where nothing has become everything, where something that's may have seemed like a connection that maybe you could both brush off, or I'm hearing it took a pivot or a turning point. Maybe there was one specific moment recently between you physically. I'm hearing for some of you, this may have been some kind of physical gesture, like maybe you held hands or kissed or saw each other or met in person or someone said something. I feel like there was this snap moment where seemingly nothing became everything, where something that you thought maybe could be brushed off or forgotten, or that one or the other of you thought that now becomes impossible to forget. Now, of course, that's all kind of an illusion, because the truth on a deeper soul level is you have always been impossible to forget to each other because of that underlying soul bond. But when I say this connection has gone from nothing to everything, I'm talking about how the conscious mind has perceived it. The conscious mind initially thought, well, maybe this could be nothing. Maybe I could just forget about this and move on. But now there's been this snap moment, turning point where it's like, wait, no, that is completely impossible. This person is impossible to forget. And I do feel that now that that pivot or that turning point has happened, you're going to see this person leaning increasingly into their heart space, following their heart here with the Knight of Cups, and making some sort of romantic gesture, offer, or clear indicator towards you that shows you and reveals to you in a very conscious way what this person has been realizing or knowing about your connection. I feel like they're going to really come forward with some expression that's going to come from the heart and be very tangible in a way that is going to feel like a breakthrough, because it's a gesture that hasn't been shown before in this connection. Now, again, for some of you, this may have already occurred. This may have been that pivotal turning point moment where that gesture was expressed. But if not, then this is something that you can absolutely expect to be coming very soon. I saw the numbers 2112, which of course is a mirrored number. So there may be a lot of energetic and emotional mirroring happening between the two of you. I'm getting that very strongly. I'm hearing that throughout the day, you may find yourself daydreaming about this person, thinking about them, and your guides want you to know that those thoughts are not always originating within your own mind, that very often you are picking up those thoughts via energetic transference, and you are sensing how much this person is actually thinking of you, because it's almost like through this turning point as well, they've now released the restrictions within their own mind that kept them even from letting themselves imagine you in a certain kind of way or daydream about you or about the future of this connection. Prior, they didn't want to get their hopes up because, again, they've seen you as very elevated above them in some sense. And yet now somehow the floodgates have been opened. Those inhibitions have been released mentally, and this person is really allowing themselves this full-blown indulgence into their own mind, into their own daydreams about you, and letting themselves even indulge in the emotions that they're feeling connected to those daydreams, and to just thinking about you, even reminiscing moments together. And that might be why you felt an uptick in thoughts and emotions about them recently, maybe even in a way that at times feels a little bit disruptive, because it's that link of energetic transference between the two of you where you are picking up on the fact that this person has released some of those previous inhibitions, and they're really allowing themselves to daydream about you and think about you in this much more emotionally charged way because of some recent turning point where this switched from being quote unquote nothing to everything. So I really hope this reading was resonant for someone listening. If so, then be sure to subscribe if you would like to get real-time energy updates and collective messages. If you would like to be notified when I do these readings, which I try to pick up on the energies in as real time as I can and post them as quickly as I can to give you those nearly instantaneous sorts of collective updates. So if you do want to be part of that, to receive those real-time messages and updates, I recommend subscribing to the channel and also turning on your notifications. So I'm going to close this reading with the Rumi Oracle card, Blood Angel, and I'm going to read a message from the guidebook here. So the guidebook here says, in the midst of the darkness, a moon appeared with its brilliance. Stepping down from the clouds, it glanced at me. Like a falcon that hunts a bird and steals it away, it captured me and flew back to infinite space. As I looked for myself, I could not find me, for my body had become all soul in the tenderness of love. And the 9 spheres of heaven dissolved in that moon as the ship of my existence drowned in the sea of love. Rumi. And the guidebook also says, why is this coming to you? You are ready for it. You have outgrown what has been, and it cannot satisfy your soul anymore. Trust in the divine in you, in life, and great power and heavenly play can and will flow through your soul and deep into your worlds. So that feels like a beautiful place to close the reading. If anything connected here for you, I would love to hear from you in the comments under the video. You can also follow me on Instagram at Magnetize Yourself. And if you do feel interested in utilizing my Love Magnetism Subliminal to help you clear any energy blocks in this connection or in your love life generally, to manifest your highest vibrational timeline in love, to become super magnetic in love, not just romantically, but for all forms of love in your life, then the link to download the Sound and Soulful app is in the pinned comment and description box underneath this video. Otherwise, I am sending you all huge amounts of love and light energy. Have an amazing remainder of your day, and I will connect with you here again in the next video.